Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. And let me tell you, folks, this is huge. This is historic. This is possibly the greatest birthday roast in the history of mankind. And folks, let me tell you something right now. I hijacked this broadcast. That's right. I took over. This was supposed to be FannyPackDave's show, but guess what? Not anymore. He was going to prompt me. He was going to tell me what to say. But let me tell you, I've never used a teleprompter before, and I'm not starting now. And today, folks, we are here to celebrate a legend, a tremendous individual, a powerhouse of personality, a man who has been through unbelievable things, a man who has lived a life that reads like a cross between a Greek tragedy, a slapstick comedy, and a Florida Man headline. And that man? That incredible man? Brian Hawler, the man, the myth, the walking liability claim. First things first, gravity versus Brian. Folks, let's talk about the biggest enemy Brian has ever faced. And no, I'm not talking about the food court police or the girl whose hair he roasted. I'm talking about something more powerful than all of them combined. Gravity. Gravity has done more damage to Brian than any political opponent has ever done to me. He falls over everything. Coolers? Destroyed. Sidewalks? Dangerous. Stationary objects? Ambush predators waiting to strike. If there is a single obstacle within a 20-foot radius, Brian will find it. He will collide with it. He will hit the ground faster than CNN's ratings after election night. Unbelievable, folks. Science. The most ironic nickname in history. Now, let's talk about this science situation. This is one of my favorite parts of the Brian Hawler story. Folks, as a kid, not great at science. Terrible, even. If you had asked young Brian what causes the seasons, he probably would have said, Santa turns the thermostat up and down. And yet, for some reason, his neighbor kids called him science. And let me tell you something, folks, that makes no sense. That's like calling Joe Biden a master strategist. It just doesn't add up. But here's the thing. Fast forward 41 years. And guess what? Brian is one of the only people in America who understands basic biology. He knows that men are men, women are women, and science isn't something you feel, it's something that is real. And folks, in a world where people are completely losing their minds, Brian is a damn genius. The most generous man who also forgot about a friend tied to a tree. Now listen, folks, Brian, unbelievably generous. If you need something, he's there. If you're struggling, he'll help. The man will give the shirt off his back. And if you're lucky, it'll be one of his nice cut-off t-shirts, the ones with slightly fewer holes. But folks, let's talk about what happens when Brian's helping goes just a little off the rails. Because this man once tied his buddy Nate to a tree, stuffed corn in his pants, told him ants were going to eat him, and then forgot about him. For an hour. Folks, I've heard some wild things, but this is next level. Food fears and botched Botox. Now, folks, let's talk about food. Because Brian, terrible relationship with food. Ketchup, too spicy. Last sip of a drink, not happening. A mild seafood boil, time to take a shower to cool off. Folks, come on. This is not the behavior of a strong man. This is not the alpha mindset. This is concerning. And let's not forget the Botox incident. Botched Botox, folks. This guy got pressured into getting Botox and then called his friend a week later because he couldn't lift his face. Now, folks, let me tell you something. I have had some great facelifts. The best facelifts. But Brian? Not one of them. His voice higher than all the wives. Now, folks, this is a big one because for years, Brian's voice was higher than every wife in the friend group. Every single one. This was a guy who could have fronted a boy band until senior year. I mean, we're talking record-breaking falsetto, folks. His vocal cords were afraid of puberty. Accidents involving special needs individuals concerning pattern. Now, folks, listen. I don't know what's going on here, but there's a trend. This man has had multiple incidents involving special needs individuals. 1. Told a girl he'd go to prom with her, then told her he was lying. Not good. 2. Hit a special needs girl with his car mirror, kept driving. He did apologize, folks, we think. 3. Ran off the golf course rather than lose to Ben. Okay, that one's not related, but it proves a point. Folks, it's a problem. The presidential cameo proclamation. So today, on this historic occasion, on behalf of your family, your friends, and every object you have ever tripped over, I, Donald J. Trump, officially declare today Brian Hall Day. Brian, you are tremendous. You are fantastic. And let me tell you something. Nobody has a birthday quite like you. And folks, I have to do it. I must. This is for Brian. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd make sure Brian didn't get stung in the groin today. Happy 41st birthday, Brian. You deserve it. And let me tell you, this year, it's going to be the best one yet. All right, folks, I gotta go before Dave gets back and tries to tell me what to say. I don't do teleprompters, never have, never will. I make my own decisions, I say what I want, and I run this show. God bless Brian, God bless this cameo, and God bless America.
All right, Alex. Are you ready for this? Do you have any final questions before we do this?
Stop you right there. I know what you're doing. I see what's happening here. You're trying to control me. You're trying to guide me, trying to put me in a little box saying, okay, Alex, say this. Okay, Alex, don't say that. Let me tell you something, Dave. I don't do teleprompters. I never have. I never will. You think you're in charge here? You think you run this show? Dave, let me make this very clear. I am this show. You want me to come on here and just say, oh, happy birthday, Brian, like some kind of basic, low-energy, sad little cameo? No, Dave, not happening. This is the greatest birthday message of all time, and you are over here micromanaging like a Biden economic plan. Total disaster. And let me tell you something else. This whole cameo thing we're doing, the best in the world. Okay. Me and you, Dave, we can make a cameo for anyone. We can make a birthday video, a roast, a motivational speech, a deep existential crisis, anything.
We could.
But, and this is big, Dave, I need to be free. I need to say what I want. I can't be contained. You keep trying to keep me under control, but guess what? You can't.
What? Oh.
This is fully unhinged, fully powered, big league, high-energy Trump mode, and I am running this show. And now, finally, let's talk about Brian. Now that I've put Dave in his place, we can get to the real business.
Yeah, you did.
The man of the hour.
Wow.
The legend, the myth, the guy who has left more unfinished drinks than a college frat house on a Sunday morning. Folks, let's talk about this drink crisis. This is concerning. This is very serious. This is a national emergency. Because Brian Haller will not, refuses to finish a drink. He will drink 95% of it, and then, just when you think he's going to cross the finish line, he walks away. Why, Brian? Why? What's happening in that last sip? What secrets does it hold? Are you afraid of it? Do you think it's going to attack you? What do you know that we don't? And folks, let's be very clear. This is a pattern. This is not a one-time thing. This is not a random event. This is an ongoing crisis. I mean, we've seen bad policies before. The Green New Deal, letting Dr. Fauci talk for more than 5 seconds, letting Biden anywhere near a microphone. But Brian's drink abandonment is worse than all of them. Final thoughts, because I am in charge.
Okay.
So listen, folks, if you want the greatest cameo of all time, you know where to go. Dave and Alex. We do birthdays, roasts, presidential decrees, pep talks, conspiracy theories, whatever you want. But, and this is important, Dave has to let me be free. I can't be contained. I won't be controlled. I am completely unhinged and I am running this show. And Brian, you are a national treasure, a gravity-defying, drink-abandoning, ketchup-fearing icon of American excellence, and for that we salute you. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd make Brian finish his drinks today. Happy 41st birthday, Brian. Now I have to go before Dave gets back and tries to prompt me again. Not happening. God bless Brian. God bless this cameo. and God bless America.
You know, I was here for all of that, and I heard that, right? I heard you talking about taking over, and I mean, I agree with a lot of the stuff you said there. I do believe that we can make a cameo for everybody, and I love the conspiracy cameos. Like, what, we're just gonna make up conspiracy theories? Like, these are gonna be way too long of videos. You already know this. Like, yeah, I mean, so this is what we're gonna do now. You're just gonna take over. I mean, that's cool, but we're supposed to be wishing Brian a happy birthday, and I guess you did. I mean, I guess you did. So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it later, I guess, right?
Dave, let me tell you something. I knew you were here. Of course I knew. But guess what? I don't care. You think you run this? I run this. You think you're in charge? I took over. And honestly, Dave, it's better this way. And listen, I appreciate the agreement. I really do. You admit I was right, which, let's be honest, happens all the time. But the cameos, they're going to be huge. We're talking deep state conspiracy cameos, sports motivation cameos, relationship advice cameos, and let's be honest, we will go too long on all of them. Way too long. But you know what? People love it. And that's what we do, Dave. And listen, I did wish Brian a happy birthday.
Okay,
In
thank
fact,
you.
I made it historic. I made it so big, so powerful, that every unfinished drink Brian has ever left behind is now trembling in fear. You say, oh, Alex, you hijacked the whole thing, but guess what? It was the best version possible. You want a basic happy birthday? Go somewhere else. You want a full presidential address? You want the most over-the-top, unhinged, insane, greatest birthday roast of all time? You come to me. And listen, we will talk later. We will. But let's be honest, we both know how this goes. You're going to come back with another idea. And guess what? I will take over again, because I am in charge now. But for now, happy birthday, Brian. May your next year be filled with finished drinks, proper drink etiquette, and fewer random objects taking you down like an NFL linebacker. And Dave, we'll be seeing each other. Big things ahead, folks. Big things. God bless Brian. God bless the cameos. And God bless America. Screen cuts to black.